Welcome to the start of another Doug in KL running errands video. So in this video, basically I'm just going to be stringing together whatever random events happen in my life, maybe in one day, maybe spreading out over several days. I don't really know. I don't actually have a big list of things to do today. So I think most of today I'm just going to be hunkered down and working on some videos from Vietnam. But lately I've been waking up really hungry. I don't have a big habit of having breakfast. If my friend Daryl or somebody else reaches out and says, hey, I'm free tomorrow morning, do you want to have breakfast? I'll join them, but on my own I tend to just wake up, shower, have a cup of coffee in my room, and I just start doing whatever I'm going to be doing. I don't generally have breakfast. But I've been really hungry lately, so this morning I thought, yeah, I was actually editing a video in my hotel room on my smartphone, and I was just feeling hungry, and I thought, man, I gotta go have something to eat. So I'm back at Yut Kee. I thought, where can I go? And I didn't really want to mess around. I didn't want a big adventure. I just wanted something that I know what I'm going to get, and I don't want to have to think about it. So here I am, back at Yut Kee. There it is. They open at 7:30. I'm usually here with somebody else, but today I'm on my own, and I'm just going to have a chicken chop, some iced cham, work on a video or two while I'm sitting there, and then I'll move on with the rest of my day. I really should try out other places. Like, there's just a million restaurants in all directions. Like, there's one right there that I've never eaten at. But for this morning, back at the familiar Yut Kee and a chicken chop. I just need some fuel in the tank, apparently. That's what I'm all about this morning. Just leaving from Yut Kee. There it is behind me. My plan, of course, was to sit there leisurely, take a little bit of video of my chicken chop. I've taken pictures and video of many chicken chops there, but there's always room for one more. But largely, I think, because I came here on my own, the whole scene was completely different. Every time I come here with Daryl or anybody else, it's relaxed, it's empty, there's lots of tables. But I come here alone, and the place was just jammed. Every table was full. And when I walked inside, the waiters, they greet people when they come in, and they show you to a table right away. And normally when I'm with Daryl, there's an empty table off in the corner. We sit there, have a wonderful time chatting. This time they made me sit down at a table with a whole bunch of other people. So I was like, oh. And I suppose I could have said, no, I don't want to do that. I'll wait until the table is free. But again, I'm there all by myself, and if I sit at a table for four, they do have signs on the wall there. It's a very popular place normally, I guess. And they have signs everywhere that say, the meaning of the sign is, hey, don't dilly-dally, eat and get out, because we want to serve as many customers as possible. They're basically saying we're a very busy place, and we need fast turnover, so please make way for new people. They have signs everywhere saying that, and they say sorry for the inconvenience. But so yeah, if you go there all by like one person and then occupy a big table, you're sort of holding up the line. So when they indicated I had to share a table with other people, I was like, yeah, okay, that's part of the deal here. And then once I'm with all these other people, I didn't want to bother them by whipping out my GoPro. So I ate my chicken chop, I drank my iced cham, and I'm out the door. But I'm still glad I went. I really needed something to eat. I haven't been eating enough. I really haven't been. I think yesterday I had one meal, a small meal for the whole day. And yeah, I need to eat more than that, I think. A little bit of scenery. KL Tower, as always. More of the land of giants that I keep talking about. Towers everywhere, especially if you look in that direction from here. Yeah, I was surprised it was so busy, because every time I go there with Daryl, it's usually at 7:30 in the morning when they when they open, and we've never had any trouble. But today, 7:30 in the morning, I went there, and yeah, the place was rocking and rolling. Every table was full of people. Good chicken chop though, good ice cham. And I was gonna hang out for a while. I brought my smartphone with me. I was gonna edit some video while I was sitting there, but just didn't have that kind of vibe. So fuel in the tank, and now basically heading back to my hotel, I guess. I noted the other day that as you walk around KL, you're starting to see more and more Malaysian flags everywhere. And you can tell they're brand new because they're bright and colorful. And the reason they're doing that is because this is the month of August, and Malaysia's Independence Day is coming up on August 31st. It's a big day in Malaysia every year. I've been here for quite a few of them now. And I think one year I went out to see the whole to-do here in Kuala Lumpur. There's a certain place where you go to see the parade, huge crowds of people, big celebration. And I did the whole thing one year. I don't even remember if I was shooting video back in those days. I don't think I was, but I did experience it. But I don't think I've ever done the classic YouTube video of Independence Day. Every year when it comes around, all these YouTubers come flooding into Malaysia to make a video on that day, because those are very popular videos on YouTube. But what I find interesting about it is something I've talked about a lot, that in terms of independence and modern Malaysia, they've got a little bit of a complicated history. And I was just reading about that on Wikipedia, and I thought maybe I'd read a little bit of that, what they say, because Independence Day, also in Malay, Hari Merdeka, which basically translates as Independence Day, also known as National Day, is the Independence Day of the Federation of Malaya from the British Empire. It commemorates the Malayan Declaration of Independence on August 31st, 1957. So you might have noticed nowhere in there did it say Malaysia, because Malaysia didn't exist yet. This was the Declaration of Independence for the Federation of Malaya. And continuing with that, they do say here, the observation of 31st August as Malaysia's National Day is the cause of some controversy, with calls to prioritize the celebration of Malaysia Day on September 16th instead, because on Malaysia Day, September 16th, 1963, that commemorates the formation of Malaysia, when North Borneo, Sarawak, Singapore, and Malaya combined. They federated to form Malaysia. So I don't know if I read that properly or it made any sense to you. But August 31st, 1957, that was the establishment of the Federation of Malaya. And it wasn't until 1963 that Malaysia was, the modern version of Malaysia was created. And that's when they took Malaya and combined it with Singapore and North Borneo and Sarawak. So technically, Malaysia was born in 1963, 1957. So I've come across this a lot, that there are a lot of holidays in this part of the world, and Malaysia really exemplifies that, because they honor all the holidays from different calendars, the Buddhist holidays, Hindu holidays, Islamic holidays, and they have 2 Independence Days. So I think Malaysians, I've often thought of them as being similar to Canadians. We're very accommodating. We don't really get too worked up about things. And if there's a controversy, like, okay, which day is our Independence Day? We're like in Malaysia, they're like, we'll celebrate both. What's the big deal? why don't we have 3 Independence Days? Why not? There's no big deal with that. So I kind of like that approach. So I've often thought of Malaysia as having several Independence Days because it's had a bit of a complicated history. Because even after Malaysia was formed, Singapore was part of that Malaysia, but of course Singapore is not part of Malaysia anymore. So was that the true birth of Malaysia? Anyway, so all of that just to explain why you see that flag over there. There's a flag there, and as you walk around, you're going to see more and more Malaysian flags during the month of August, leading up until Independence Day on August 31st. Another big celebration. Continuing with the random nature of these videos that I'm shooting in KL, I'm now back in my room. I just got back from Yut Kee. I actually went looking around my neighborhood for a place to have a cup of coffee and chat a little bit on video. But there's so much noise everywhere. There's so much heat out there. A lot of it was outdoor seating. And I thought, just go back to my room, Planet Doug Studios, have a cup of instant coffee and chat a little bit. And the reason I wanted to chat was because I was looking at all the flags of Malaysia, and that got me thinking about the Federation of Malaya, that Independence Day, and then Malaysia itself. That whole business about having 2 Independence Days. And I like the idea that Malaysians are so easygoing that, yeah, we'll celebrate both of them. They celebrate all of the holidays. And if they have 3 or 4 Independence Days, hey, why not? What's wrong with that? Let's celebrate all of them. I like that. But then I was looking at all the flags, the new flags, not just today, but over the last few days, and I've noticed that most of them are long because they're large ones hanging off of buildings, so there'd be a big tall tower, and if you put a normal flag horizontally, it can't be as big or as dramatic. But if you make the flag vertical and make it much longer, then it can be draped all the way down the building, a tall tower, or all the way along a tall light post or something like that. So I noticed that all of these Malaysian flags being put up, they tend to be oriented vertically, and that got me wondering if that had a special name. If you have a flag, a regular flag on a flagpole blowing in the wind and it's horizontal, is there a name for that as opposed to a flag that is hung vertically, long side up and down? And I noticed that these Malaysian flags also they aren't squared off on the bottom. The ones that are hung vertically are very long, and then there are 2 triangular points rather than just a rectangle with 2 corners. It goes down to 2 points, and I wondered whether that had any meaning or not. So that sent me down a little bit of a rabbit hole online, asking AI and going to Wikipedia and things like that. I was just trying to find out these sorts of things, and I learned a few things about flags in general and the Malaysian flag in particular. So I thought, while I had my cup of coffee, I would share what I learned. So the one thing I learned is that when you have a symbol in the top left of a flag, they call that the canton. This is from Wikipedia. The canton is a rectangular emblem placed at the top left of a flag, and this contains symbolism of that country. Because when you have the regular Malaysian flag this way, of course, you've got the symbols in the top left corner, but then when they turn the flag vertically and make it long, it has all the same elements, but they're placed differently. So the lines are normally going this direction with the canton in the top left-hand corner, but then when they turn the flag vertically, now the stripes are going up and down, and they're much, much longer, and then the canton is no longer in the top left corner. It actually occupies the entire top of that. So anyway, I wanted to talk about that, but I didn't have the vocabulary to talk about it. So I found out that that is actually called the canton. And then on a regular flag, it's in the top left corner, but the vertical flag, it just occupies the entire top of it. I feel a little bit like Sheldon now from The Big Bang Theory, because it's, if you think about things that are attributed to geeks, I think flag design is like very, very high on the list, such that Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory, he even had his own podcast. It was like a video podcast called Fun with Flags. And of course, he knew everything about every flag on Earth, the history of them, the meaning of them, the symbolism. I think if you make a hobby out of learning about flags, it's like learning about coins or stamps. There's just no end to the trivia that you can pack into your brain. I don't plan on going that far into it. Instant coffee. So continuing on, when I was looking at the information about the canton, then I saw that with a regular horizontal flag, the side of the flag that's attached to the flagpole, according to Wikipedia, that's called the hoist side, which makes sense because you attach that side to the rope and then you hoist the flag from that side. So that is called the hoist side. And then the other side that's flapping in the wind, they call that the fly side. And then there's the canton, a device or charge, and then the fringe that may go all the way around the flag, and then tassels and all kinds of other things. But it was mainly the canton that I wanted to find out about. So now I have the flag of Malaysia, the national flag, also known as the Stripes of Glory, which in Malay is Jalur Gemilang, the Stripes of Glory. And it says, for the symbolism, the 14 stripes represent the Federation's 13 member states and federal territories. The blue canton represents unity, and it has the crescent for Islam and yellow, the yellow star for the Malay rulers. And the original comes from May 26, 1950, and the current flag was adopted on September 16th, 1963. And then I asked if there was a special name for the flag hung vertically as opposed to horizontally, and there's no technical name for that, but it does say here that when the Malaysian flag is hung vertically and is much longer than normal, it is referred to as the banner display. And that makes sense. I was thinking about that. That's the word that popped into my head, that when it goes like this, it looks to me more like a banner. When something is long and narrow, whether it's horizontal or vertical, it's more like a banner. So they call that the banner display. And the banner display features the same design as the standard flag, but is oriented with vertical stripes instead of horizontal ones, with the canton positioned at the top, which is what I already talked about. As I said, the official name of the Malaysian flag when hung vertically is Jalur Gemilang, or Stripes of Glory, which is exactly the same as the vertical flag. So they're identical, and even though it is now a banner display, according to what I read, you still have to treat it with all the same respect and etiquette that you would a standard display of the flag. So even though it's a different design, it is in all ways exactly the same as the national flag and has to be treated the same way. The rules surrounding flags, such as you're not allowed to let them touch the ground, handling of the flag, there's a whole ceremony, there's etiquette around handling a national flag. And all of these rules of etiquette apply to the standard flag and the banner display. They're the same. So now that I know that, throughout the month of August, if I ever find myself referring to the flag and talking about it, maybe I'll know one or two things about it. I don't have any big plans for today. What I mean is I don't have any errands to run that I have scheduled. I may do one thing. I may go to OMD World Imaging, the office for the Olympus Service Center, just because the last time I brought them some work, I brought them some lenses to be cleaned, and I had my Olympus camera was malfunctioning and I wanted them to check into it. A month and a half went by and I never heard anything from them until I finally got impatient and I went there just to see like what's going on. And then when I got there, they basically just forgot about my camera. And when I showed up, they took it down from the shelf, and I guess they put it on the shelf. I dropped it off and they looked it over. They couldn't find what was wrong with it, so they put it on the shelf and then never contacted me until I came back a month and a half later and said, "What? Like, is there anything going on? And can you fix my camera or not?" And then they said, "Oh yeah, we really haven't done anything for the last month and a half." So anyway, I don't want that to happen this time, so I'm going to hound them a little bit. So I may even just hop on the MRT at some point, zip down to Sunway velocity, just pop into Olympus and nudge them a little bit. I gave them a lens to clean, and with the camera, there was not a big job. It's just that on the battery door, a little plastic lever fell off, broke off. Something happened to it, and I wanted them to replace that. So it should take all of 10 minutes to do that job. So maybe it's a good idea for me just to knock on the door, peer in the window. "Excuse me, hello," remember me this time. All right, I'm back out in the city again. It's the next morning now, Thursday morning here in Kuala Lumpur. And I'm on my way into the city again, mainly to meet up with Daryl for lunch. But along the way, I'm going to be running errands as well. All technology related. I'm still in the midst of this whirling storm of just trying to get things repaired. Yeah, I almost have to run it down in my mind now, what exactly is going on. The MacBook, my laptop, is hanging in there. I got it up and running again, so that repair seems to be hanging in there. It still does this weird thing every time I turn on the MacBook. About 5 minutes after I turn it on, maybe 15 minutes, it heats up, and then it gives a relatively loud bang sound, like maybe the frame of the MacBook is heating up, or some plastic piece in there, and it expands and then snaps into a new position or something. That's what it sounds like. But it freaks me out every time it happens. It's like bang. It's like, what? Laptops are not supposed to do that. But it seems to be working more or less. And my GoPro Hero 12 is still out there. Dropped it off at Altec. And when I left it there, and they were talking about how they have to send it to Singapore for repairs, based on our conversation, I had the impression that they were going to check into this for me and get back to me. But I've had many companies in Malaysia say that to me, and they never do. They don't actually ever get back to you. They just sort of forget about you until you go bug them. So I haven't heard back from them. I don't know whether my GoPro is still here, whether it's on its way to Singapore, whether it's in Singapore already. What is going on with it, I have no idea. If I'm ever in the neighborhood of Altec, I guess I'll just drop by and just sort of remind them that I exist. It seems that's something you have to do in Malaysia a lot. My GoPro Hero 9 is still being worked on by SKL. And it's sort of a similar situation there. It was a bit weird. I dropped it off during the day a couple of days ago. And then I got a message at about 8:30 at night from the guy on WhatsApp. And I didn't really understand the message, but it said something like, camera is checking, or something like that. So he was telling me maybe that he's begun looking into it. And it seemed like he was really active, right? That was the same day I dropped it off. And that night he was working on it, but I haven't heard from him since. I sent a message back to him, and just to remind him, and just to say, "Oh, you're checking up on the GoPro. That's good. How's it going? Do you think you'll be able to repair it? How is it looking?" But there's been no reply for a couple of days, so I don't know what's going on with the GoPro Hero 9 Black. And my Olympus camera is still at the Olympus Service Center, and that's where I'm going today. Where I'm meeting Daryl for lunch is at Sunway Velocity, and Olympus is there. So I'm heading to Olympus right now, and I'm just going to go into the office and sort of remind them that I exist. It's like I have to do the rounds of all these companies, just circle around and knock on their doors and say, hey, remember me? Anything going on? Got an update for me? We'll see. Yeah, that's where I'm heading right now. And I have a few other technology stories to talk about, but let me hop into the MRT first. On the escalator heading down. I showed a couple of days ago that I bought a SanDisk SSD drive, a 1 terabyte SanDisk SSD drive, an external drive. The idea being that I can plug it into my MacBook and it will give me 1 terabyte of very fast storage, and I'll be able to edit video directly from that device. And there's been a little bit of a drama surrounding that purchase because I went out looking for a different model. I wanted to buy the Samsung T7 Shield, and they sell it at Thunder Match. So I went to Thunder Match to buy it, and they told me, no, we don't sell that, we don't have that. And we even looked on their website and it said out of stock, nobody has it. So I thought, okay, I can't get that model. So I bought the SanDisk instead. But then it turns out that the SanDisk has been criticized a lot lately. A lot of them have been failing. And if you go online and look at all the reviews, everybody is telling you, don't buy the SanDisk. Don't buy, whatever you do, don't get the SanDisk. So I thought, oh great, of course I bought the absolute worst one. But after some research, it turns out that I think there's one particular model that is falling apart, that is breaking down. And it's the SanDisk Extreme Pro 4 terabyte model. That's the one that seems to be at the heart of this controversy. And I bought the SanDisk Extreme 1 terabyte. So it's not the Pro, and it's not the 4 terabyte. So far it seems to be working just fine, but it isn't working as well as I'd hoped so far. I have it plugged into my MacBook and I'm trying to edit directly from it, but using DaVinci Resolve, accessing files from the SSD drive instead of from the internal memory, it's actually stuttery and lagging, and the audio and the video is out of sync. So far it's not working out as well as I'd hoped. I can do it, but it's just really, we'll see. Maybe it'll just start working better, or I can figure something out. We'll see. The other problem with it is that the cable is too short. It dangles from my laptop because it has a very short cable. And I'm thinking about today looking to find a longer cable, a high-speed data cable, USB-C to USB-C, and maybe I can get a longer cable that will work, and then I don't have this external drive dangling from my laptop anymore. That would be nice. So yeah, I'm down on the platform now. Little summary of what's going on. As always, I'm here, Masjid Jamek, and I'm just going down to Pasar Seni, and then I'm transferring to the Kajang line, Merdeka, well this is, Merdeka, Bukit Bintang, Twin Razak Exchange, Maluri, Cochrane, that's where I'm going, Cochrane Station, and I exit there, and then I can go into Olympus from Cochrane. Pasar Seni Station, this is where I transfer. Not as nice a day as I've had recently, kind of a gloomy, gray day. Just realized I've actually had a couple of really nice days recently, beautiful blue skies. All the tall buildings of KL looked very dramatic against that blue sky when it shows up on a gray day like this. Not so much, but got to transfer down to the Kajang line. Speaking of technology, I had one incredible realization last night. Can't believe I've never heard of this before, because I talk endlessly about how certain apps and programs bother me because they can only be used on one device because they're tied to that device's phone number. The main one is WhatsApp. And I'm always talking about this, how it's so annoying that I have WhatsApp on one phone, but it's not on my other phone. So, for example, if I go to Sumatra and I put a SIM card in one of my phones, but it's not the phone with WhatsApp, then I constantly have to set up a mobile hotspot and connect the phones together through mobile Wi-Fi, on and on. And I've been struggling with this for a long time. I talk about it all the time. And then last night, I stumbled across this fact that WhatsApp last year, 2023, they introduced what they call companion mode. So in fact, you can have WhatsApp on multiple devices. And I was so happy to figure this out, to learn this. But at the same time, I was wondering, how come nobody told me? I mean, I do nothing but talk about my struggles with technology. It feels like the entire universe knows about my problem with WhatsApp. And I also assume that everyone in the universe already knew about this companion mode. I'm the only dummy left that had never heard of it. So I'm thinking, well, all these people that know about this, why didn't anyone tell me? So this happens all the time. I'll discover something new and I'll mention it to a friend. It's like, can you believe it? And they're like, oh yeah, I've been doing that for years. I'm like, well, why didn't you tell me? Anyway, I'm going to ask Daryl when I see him. It's like, did you know about WhatsApp companion mode? And if he says, oh yeah, everybody knows about that, I don't know. I have to tell him he needs to keep me better informed, I think. Yeah. So yeah, all you have to do is on your second phone, you have a primary phone, of course, that's where your WhatsApp account is located. But then you can go to another phone, download WhatsApp, but rather than trying to sign into your account or create account, you click on the menu and then, yeah, you just set up, I forget what it's called on the menu, but you just set up companion mode. It gives you a QR code. You go to your primary phone, scan the QR code, and now they're linked. And you have WhatsApp on both phones. And they basically operate exactly the same. So that solves one big problem in my life. I don't have to worry about which phone I'm using. Every phone I have now has my WhatsApp account on it. And apparently, yeah, I could have been doing this since last year. But yeah, I didn't know. Nobody told me. I think I found out about it this time because I asked the Perplexity AI. I was just rambling about a whole bunch of other stuff and I just typed in a question into Perplexity. Is it possible to use WhatsApp on multiple devices? Expecting it to say, well, no, dummy, of course not. That's not how WhatsApp works. But it says, yes, you can. They call it companion mode and this is how you set it up. And I'm like, oh, for Pete's sake. Anyway, I'm down on the platforms for the Kajang line, Kajang Kwasa Damansara, here at Pasar Seni, and I'm going to Cochrane Station. They're still advertising House of the Dragon, big time, at this station. It's my train arriving, of course. Cochrane Station, and it's a short walk from here to Olympus across a pedestrian bridge. I discovered another interesting tidbit about technology as well. I just happened to be watching a video from an American guy in Ho Chi Minh City. I think his channel is called Shu, S-H-U. I don't know anything about him except he seems to be based there, like living there. Maybe he's a student, maybe he's working. I don't really know because I've only seen this one video from him. I haven't done a deep dive into his channel. But anyway, the video I was watching, I guess I got not clickbaited into it, but he got me to click on the video because the title of the video was something like, "You won't believe what happened to me in Saigon," or "You won't believe what happened to me in Ho Chi Minh City." So I wanted to know, oh, what did happen to you? So I click on the video, and it turned out that he has 2 smartphones as well, like I do. And then he took a Grab car, but when he got out of the car and got back into his apartment, his condo, wherever it was he's staying, one of his phones was missing. And he eventually figured out that he left it in the Grab. So he was talking about using some kind of an app. I think he has an iPhone system, but he was using some sort of an Apple thing to locate his phone, to see where it was, and then he had all these adventures to go connect with the Grab car driver and get his phone back. I never made it to the end of the video, so I don't know what happened. The tone of the opening of the video made it sound like everything went wrong, like he had a lot of trouble getting his phone back, or he never did. So I don't know what the end of the story was. But while I was watching that video about him using an app to find his phone, I got an email. One of my phones went ding, and I got an email. I opened up the email, and it was from Google, and Google was announcing a brand new system for finding your phone using an app, just like the guy was using in the video. Just kind of weird. I'm watching a video about a guy trying to find his phone using a Find My Phone app, and while I'm watching the video, I get an email from Google telling me about their program, which the Google one is called Find My Device. And I never found it very useful. Where do I go? I think I go up. Yes, I think I go outside. There's another shopping center here with an IKEA, but I don't think I go there. I exit from the station, maybe in this direction. I remember coming here before and being surprised that there were no signs, like an arrow saying this way to Sunway Velocity, because Sunway Velocity is such a huge shopping mall that everybody would go to. It just made sense to me that there would be some kind of a sign down there saying this way or take this exit, but there isn't one. But I think I'm heading in the right direction. But anyway, I never found the Google Android program Find My Device very useful, because in order to find a device, it has to be connected to Wi-Fi. And if I lost one of my phones, chances are it may be a phone that I don't have a SIM card in it, so it won't be connected to Wi-Fi. So you could use it to find your phone if you lose it inside your hotel room, but it's not like I need an app to do that, I just find it. But the announcement from Google is that they're adding a new feature to Find My Device that actually uses Bluetooth to connect to all of the Android devices around you. So it works just like smart tags. It works like smart tags or air tags, where if you happen to lose your phone, now you can call up Find My Device on your other phone, click on the phone you lost, and it will send you its location because it's communicating with all the other Android devices anywhere near that phone. So that's how smart tags work and air tags, and that's how the Google Find My Device is going to work now. And in the email it said this new feature is going to be launched in 3 days, and that was yesterday, so 2 more days and this feature will be there. And I know a lot of people will be concerned. There's so much concern about privacy and security these days that they do have an opt-out option, if you don't want your phone to be involved in this messaging system, constantly communicating with other phones and talking about where it's located, sending location data, you can opt out of the system. But I think it's going to be automatic. I think when it launches, everybody's going to be in the system. So, yeah. So anyway, that was kind of cool. So now, I didn't have Find My Device loaded on any of my phones, because as I said, I didn't find it to be very useful because it needed a Wi-Fi connection to work. But now it won't anymore. So now I have it on all my phones. And I think it's a good idea, because if you lose your phone or it gets stolen, you can use this to find it, but you can also control it remotely. So if there's a security concern, you can lock the phone if it's not locked, and you can factory reset it. So you can remotely contact that phone and reset it, the factory reset. So I like that idea. I found the bridge to Sunway Velocity, and yeah, here we are. I've gone over this bridge a few times lately. I like this building on the corner. Classic old building, the rooftop, all these restaurants down along the bottom. Even though I have my MacBook up and running again and I can edit videos on it, I'm still doing a fair amount of video editing on my phone just because it's so convenient. I'm using a Samsung Note 10 Plus smartphone to do that. And in fact, these videos that I've been posting from Kuala Lumpur, they're kind of behind the scenes videos, just me talking and wandering around all day, running errands. I'm not going to a specific attraction or museum or anything. These videos, I've been editing all of them on my smartphone using a program called Kinemaster. But there's one problem with Kinemaster which annoys me greatly. Not greatly, it just annoys me, where if you record a long video clip on a GoPro or an Olympus, on a Hero 9 anyway, it divides the video up into sections. So if you record for 15 minutes, you don't get a 15-minute video on your memory card. You'll get 3 5-minute videos. So the GoPro will automatically divide a long video up into 3 chunks. And then when you edit the video, you just put all 3 chunks onto the timeline and you're good to go. But with Kinemaster, those videos that have been divided into sections, when it puts it together, it leaves a little bit of an audio gap between them. So you're watching the video, and then for like maybe 1/10 of a second or 1/4 of a second, whatever it is, the audio suddenly drops out. It goes dead, and then it picks up again. So there's a little audio dropout between the chunks of video. And there's no way to fix it. There's no way to get past it. And I've tested it with other editing apps using the exact same video clips, and there is no audio dropout. Audio is fine all the way through. So if you use a program like CapCut, for example, it handles it better, and there's no audio problem in CapCut. Kinemaster has this issue with leaving gaps in the audio, which is very annoying. So if you're watching one of those videos, if you're watching this video and you suddenly notice the audio just disappeared for 1/4 of a second, that's why. It's because of a Kinemaster. And yeah, these smartphone editing apps, they're pretty glitchy for the most part. You run into little issues like that. And yeah, everyone will tell me, oh, you should use CapCut. Everybody's excited about CapCut, but I have my own way of doing things. And there are many things about CapCut that I don't like, that don't suit how I edit. The main one is, maybe I'm wrong about this, but as far as I can tell, on CapCut, you can't see file names. So if I go out shooting video all day today and I end up with 50 videos, they show up in CapCut just as thumbnails. It gives you the thumbnail and how long the video clip is, and that's all. you can't see the file name. So even though my GoPro is numbering all of the video files, here's number 1, number 2, number 3, and gives you the file name, I see those in Kinemaster naturally, and then I can go looking for the one I want. I can put them in order, I can sort them, but in CapCut, for some reason, either you can't see video file names, or I just don't know how to do it. I haven't found a way to do it yet. All I see is a thumbnail, and that's it. So it's very confusing to me because I might have many different video projects on the go, and all the video files are mixed up, and I can't figure out what anything is anymore. So that's kind of a deal breaker for CapCut for me. And it orients vertically on your phone, which I find really awkward and hard to work with. I like a horizontal or landscape orientation. So anyway, I'm still using Kinemaster, and I paid for it for a year because I thought my MacBook would be out of commission for a long time. So I paid for the year subscription to Kinemaster, and it's not particularly expensive, but it's not cheap either. But now that my MacBook is back, I'm like, I spend money I didn't need to, but I like using a smartphone for editing video sometimes. It's just fast and convenient. So anyway, here are the offices, and Olympus is in there somewhere. And I'm going to put my GoPro away because they have a lot of security around here. And security, you know, they don't like cameras. So whenever I see them sitting outside a building, I put the GoPro away. So I'm going to pop into Olympus, and then I'll see what's going on. And when I come back out here, I'll tell you what happened. Crocodile tears. No, nothing going on. As far as I can tell, they haven't bothered to even look at it yet. And yeah, if I had to rate my reception when I walked in and the service I got out of 5 stars, 0. I'd give it 0 stars, but I'm a very hard grader when it comes to customer service in particular. It seems like it's one of the most important things a company can do, and it surprises me how poor most companies are at it, even hotels and things like that. But anyway, yeah. Yeah, it's interesting for me to have the comparison because I recently had the experience of going to the MacBook repair place, which is a small company run by just a couple of guys, and they don't have dedicated systems and paperwork and computer records. But you walk in and they just say, oh yeah, I'll take a look at it. They call you that night, yeah, it's done, pick it up tomorrow. And then you come get it, and overnight they get the work done. Big corporation like Olympus. Yeah, like I said, when I walked in, I was sort of thinking the woman, because I've dealt with the same woman the whole time, I thought her face might light up. Oh, hey. And I thought she might know something about it, but she kind of, well, I don't think she even looked at me. They're so focused on the computer records. That's their way of dealing with customers. It's like they don't know how to deal with a customer face to face anymore. So she went straight to the the desktop computer and just started clicking and clicking and clicking and clicking and clicking. Very complicated to find my camera, my lens apparently. And then she was just still staring at the computer screen, and then she said, without looking at me, we update you next week. Next week we will update you. And from her point of view, that was enough information. And that kind of annoyed me. So I did press her a little bit. Like, so you haven't looked, no one has looked at it at all? Like, nobody has looked at the lens? It seemed to me that fixing the battery door lever would take 2 minutes. Grab one off the shelf, unscrew the old one, put the new one in, you're done. Like, you couldn't find the time to just do that. Just, it's like she doesn't know, she doesn't remember, she just looks at the computer and says, next week we will update you. And so yeah, not a happy customer, but I never am really when I come to Olympus, but they're the only game in town for fixing your Olympus gear. Well, maybe some other place could do it, but like for cleaning an Olympus lens, I think these are the guys to get it done because they're the experts, right? And even fixing the battery door, I think nobody else would have access to the spare parts. So yeah, you're kind of stuck. You have to deal with these guys. All right. So yeah, she couldn't even give me an estimate. She says, well, next week we will update you, and very unsatisfactory from a customer service point of view. But we'll see what eventually the job will get done. But yeah, I was hoping to at least get the camera back today, because it'd be such an easy job. And they have this funny thing there where there's a door blocking the lobby from the interior. I've never seen the interior, so I don't know what's going on back there. Through one small round window, I can see one man sitting at a desk. He's always there, always sitting at the same desk, and that's all I can see of the back. So what I want, like, I'm curious, I'd love to stick my head around the corner. It's like there's like a dozen technicians busy working on things, but I don't see anybody there. I never see anything. So it doesn't look like anybody there is doing anything. So it just feels to me like they could have done it easily. They had lots of time, but they could have done it by now, but they just don't bother. They just come into work, sit at their desk all day long. That's what it looks like when I look through the window and I see, I guess he's the manager maybe. He's not doing any actual repair work or something, but I don't know what's going on back there. Not much, apparently. Anyway, here I am at Sunway Velocity. There's the shopping mall itself over there. And I'm going to be meeting Daryl here for coffee or lunch or both. I've met up with the man of the hour. Daryl is here. And no, there. Daryl is there. And he's taken us to somewhere. You were just telling me it's a new food court?
Relatively new. I think it's been about less than a year old. So one of the unique part here is that it's a non-halal food court, unfortunately. But it has a lot of options. And I particularly love the Vietnamese stall. Yeah. So
Food City. So it's, okay, new food court, but it's still connected to food courts. Like there's food all over the place on this floor.
There's another food court downstairs.
Oh, I see.
That one is a mixture with Muslim food, halal food, and etc. But this is purely non-halal.
I see. Have you been here before?
Yes, I have. Twice.
And your favorite?
Twice is Vietnamese.
Yeah, well, let's go take a look at that. We got Easy Hung Pork Noodle House.
Yeah, that is a restaurant. So the food court is only here.
Oh, I see. And this is another place.
It's one of the stalls inside.
Right. It's kind of Japanesey, I think, with the pork cutlet.
Taiwanese.
Oh, Taiwanese. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it doesn't jump out at me as Taiwanese.
This is a giveaway, isn't it?
Not for me.
Oh, okay. This is the most.
Like, I think bento, isn't that a Japanese word? Like lunch box?
Bento is basically box. But
yeah,
the way the dishes is very Taiwanese.
Okay. I would have said.
But there's definitely Japanese elements there as well. But those are not ramen, those are miswa, so...
And then a dim sum place over there. Let's go look at the Vietnamese menu. I mean, right off the top, it's hard to resist that.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
I was just watching a video about that with that title.
Sorry. And then you have your banh mi.
Oh, look at that banh mi.
And here is one of the more affordable ones. Usually elsewhere is about 15 ringgit for banh mi.
Okay. They've got 5-spice grilled chicken, crispy roasted pork.
Decisions.
Yeah.
Just order everything.
Right. I was going to get one of each, not one of each, but maybe this and the pho.
Yeah.
One of each.
But if I have a look at the other side, this is now the
Okay, there's the bento place we just saw the sign for. Barbecue. Japanese cuisine. I just had something like this, the chicken cutlet curry rice, when I was at One Utama with Matthew. Chinese stir-fried dumpling, kimchi, and then drinks here in the middle. I see. And on the table, they have a menu for the drinks. Maybe they come to your table. Oh, I wonder if we can order. Oh, drinks are QR code, but maybe the food is not. Where did he go? I lost him. Daryl is ordering drinks, QR code system, and he pointed out they have a special cutlery system. We're gonna go investigate right now. Apparently they have a little cupboard over here that we're both trying to figure out what the right word is, like sanitizes the cutlery. I feel like there might be a better word than that, but here it is. Some sort of a special cabinet, and they sterilize everything. Maybe that's what I'm looking for. Maybe it's done with UV lighting or something? I'm not sure. Sterilize.
Oh, sterilize.
That's the word we're looking for. Took me forever to think of it.
That's the right word, yes.
I grabbed a selection.
Excellent. Well done.
Daryl's holding down the fort, keeping the table, and I'm going to get the Vietnamese dish, pho and banh mi. If I don't eat the banh mi, I'll just bring it home and have it for dinner. So I think I'm going to go for this 5-spice grilled chicken, 10 ringgit, and then Vietnamese chicken noodle soup. And they have touch and go. Ah, yes, so here's where you scan. Smooth sailing. Paid with touch and go, and I have a beeper. Tells me when the food is ready. And I mentioned the other day that you're going to see more and more Malaysian flags leading up to the Independence Day at the end of the month. And here you can see a whole display of the banner style Malaysian flags. You're going to see them everywhere, more and more of them.
Very nicely positioned. Approved.
And look at that.
Nice. Hello, hello. Testing, 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 testing.
I have it on the back,
Okay.
but not on the front.
That is cool, man. That's a cool setup.
But with all those things, what you need is something set up in advance that it's just boom, 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 right? But I've never done this before, so I had to figure out what adapter connects to what adapter. And
that's cool. Brilliant. So the feet. Okay, thank you. Yeah, betul. Thank you.
That is a serious cham.
Oh yeah, that looks very.
It looked like a chocolate milkshake when I first saw it. You also went to the Vietnamese place?
Yeah. Always. That's the only place. I think one time I tried the dumplings. Not bad as well. But it's not great, unfortunately. I should have done that. It's a bit late, but...
I was just thinking that I watch so many YouTube videos, it makes me more careful in real life because I've seen so many videos where they do this and then the lid, the whole thing. So now I'm sort of like, oh, no, just sort of hold it down and be a little bit more careful.
Very wise.
Same thing with the whole straw puncture thing. I've seen so many disaster videos. So.
Oh yeah.
try to be a bit more careful. It needs to get colder.
Oh, okay.
The ice hasn't had a time to have a full effect yet. USB 3 Type-C. Oh, okay. OTG adapter. That's the one you have. Is that what you're saying?
I was looking at it, considering to get it because nowadays for me to extract data out from my phone takes a bit of time because I don't have a proper cable. USB-C to USB-A cable. So I have a very fast USB-C to USB-C. So I was thinking of getting this to just instead of getting another cable.
Right.
So I was just looking at it because this is a USB 3.0 adapter. And it's only 1 ringgit.
Right, well, yeah. It could be low speed, right?
Who knows? So,
I just don't know.
but if it's 1 ringgit, okay, it's worth
Give it a try.
give it a try. No harm in doing that, I guess.
I'm a little bit confused about OTG these days. Because it used to be a big deal. Anything you wanted to connect to your phone, you had to make sure it was OTG compatible.
Yeah.
But these days, I end up with a lot of cables and things are not specifically labeled OTG,
Correct.
but they still work with a smartphone anyway.
Yes, you're right.
So it seems to be less of an issue. Like everything now is OTG.
Until you buy one particularly wrong one, and then it's like, shit. Why did I get this? Oh man. Bye.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of metal chopsticks, though.
Neither am I.
They're too slippery.
Yeah, super.
I'll have to eat my noodles with a fork.
I'm myself. What was the word again? Sterilizer.
Sterilizer, yeah. Using UV light?
Yeah.
Because I was half expecting it to be hot when I opened it, but it's probably UV.
Yeah. I don't know how effective those things are, but
Can't hurt, right? Can't hurt.
Yeah.
So,
Can't hurt at all.
I had shawarma last night.
Ooh.
Found it on Google Maps right outside my hotel.
Nice.
Came highly recommended, so I just thought, I need a snack, I need something. So it was raining yesterday, but
Sweet.
popped across the road. A bit messy though.
Really?
Yeah, they're quite small. And then the sauce, a lot of sauce. I brought it back to my hotel room. I ended up eating it with a knife and fork because it just, your hands are just like this. A bit like a Ramly burger.
Yeah, I know. All right, bye. It's too easy to buy. You paid.
I thought you were saying goodbye.
No,
You're purchasing, yeah. I think I would end up doing a lot more online buying, except for the whole delivery thing. I keep getting to this, and payment and delivery, I always run into an issue. So as soon as I run into a barrier, I'm like, Food is ready. Happy sound.
Mine's here.
That's the Hue dish, right? Right.
It's a spicy beef bro.
Yeah, I can smell the spicing from here.
Maybe.
You're being recorded, so don't say anything bad about me while I'm gone.
You know duck, right?
Yeah.
Less vegetables than I'm used to in Vietnam, but hopefully the broth tastes just as good. So I'm just speaking to your audience. Oh, you ordered the beef one instead of the chicken?
This one?
Yeah, because you were pointing to the chicken below.
Oh. I don't know what I did, to be honest. I was focused more on the banh mi.
Better eat that one first.
The banh mi?
I think so. Well, it's crispy.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, nice, very colorful wrapping. Banh mi Nam Viet, which is interesting. Well, Vietnam, but they flipped it.
Nam Viet.
And let's get organized here.
Oh my god.
Yeah, probably expected to say these noodles are not as good as the ones in Vietnam or this, that, but I won't know. So don't expect any sort of learned food commentary from me.
This one is a bit too hard.
The noodles?
No, this one. Compared to what we used to in Vietnam. So, okay, let's try the broth. No comments.
Why not?
It's definitely not as good, but
Okay.
it is what it is. If this was like 3 months since I was in Vietnam, okay, then
Okay.
but we just got back like 2 weeks ago. So
Right. There's 3 different sauces in there.
yeah. Mix it up.
Mix it all up. Give it a taste. It's not really spicy.
No, this is spicy.
Oh, that's the spicy.
Because I got me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, that's spicy.
Yeah, I'm just going to try some of the broth as well. See if I want to add any of the spicy sauce. I'd be happy with that just as it is. Tastes fine to me, but I'll add a good chunk of this. Mix it through. Actually, let's add it all.
Yeah.
It's actually not that
Spicy.
hot spicy. A lot of flavor though, so let's just put it all in there. Let that steep a little bit.
I'll do the same.
And then, so this is the 5 spicy chicken.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I still, the best banh mi I've had for my money is still the one I got on the street in District 1. The same place I went to all the time.
Yeah, all the time, yeah.
I got banh mi at other places where they were famous, more expensive, etc., etc. But the one I got on the street had much more vegetables, just tons and tons of vegetables. Like this one is almost all chicken.
Yeah. True.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to complain about getting a lot of chicken. Let me have some of the beef here, and then I can give my learned opinion. It's nice.
The stock is beefy and all that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think adding all that spicy stuff, it helped. Gave it a bit more kick, a bit more flavor.
Mine as well.
But overall, yeah, I like this. I'm not going to tell you it's better than the pho I had in Vietnam, or
Oh yeah.
like when I first saw it, it kind of looked like beef noodle soup. I wasn't thinking of it as particularly Vietnamese, but what do I know?
I see.
And then with the banh mi, I think I have to reserve judgment until I get to the heart of it, where all the
As usual.
chicken and the
Remember
sauce.
the one we had in yeah, exactly.
It's fine. It's a sandwich. It feels like a sandwich. But like I keep saying, that one that I had in Saigon, my favorite place, it really had a different... You felt like you were eating something from Vietnam. It had a lot of flavor, a lot of vegetables. Yeah. Anyway, that is the food summary for Nam Viet at Food City. Right, Food City food court. That looks like a great place to eat, though. Comfortable seating.
And I like the space. It's very wide.
Yeah.
Unlike a lot of other food courts.
That's it for lunch today. Daryl has gone back to work. I'm on my way back to my hotel. I'm actually at Pasar Seni again. Jumped ahead in time. And my shopping expedition was successful, mainly because I was with Daryl. On my own, it would take me a week to find anything. But whenever I'm hanging out with Daryl, I have some little item I need. The first store we go into, it automatically has it. And in this case, this is what I needed. These little round stickers, because I'm going to put one of these stickers on some of the keys on the keyboard of my MacBook, because they all mismatch now, as I talked about before. So whenever the keys break, I have to switch it with another key. So now my keyboard is all mixed up. None of the letters and numbers match what the key actually is. So I have to relabel all of them. So anyway, I found them. First store we went into. Should work out perfectly. There's my train. And time to head back to Masjid Jamek. It's only one stop away from here.